Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Reggie, where real estate meets real life. I have my man Alfonso again back with us, man. Happy to see you, brother.
Good to see
Always
you
a
as
pleasure.
well.
Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure.
Good to see
First,
you as well.
first and foremost, we want to thank God for everything that we have. Thank Him for another day, and we're gonna get straight to it because this topic is gonna be hot. And I know dealing with a lot of clients, they're dealing with certain issues where they're providing, but in providing, there's always disagreements. So the topic today is taking charge, empowerment through child support knowledge. And I deal with this a lot of times with my clients in real estate. So I had Alfonso on here and I said, Alfonso, let's talk about this. Okay, let's break it down. We ain't gonna keep
Yeah.
you long, but we're gonna break it down. Okay. So, what is child support and how is it calculated in most states?
Okay. Good question. Child support, simply put, is a dollar amount
Hmm.
that the court orders
Hmm.
one of the parents to pay
Hmm.
the other parent
Hmm.
on behalf of the minor child.
Okay.
Now, the court would typically order a non-custodial parent to pay child support to the custodial parent. What that means is child support is going to be paid to the parent with whom the child resides with most of the time.
So, define most.
Great question. Um, Technically, more than half the time.
Hmm.
Okay. Now,
On a 7 day time frame.
yes, but it's a little more complicated than that.
Hmm.
Let me explain.
Hmm.
So, Maryland, for example, defines shared custody
Hmm.
as having a child reside with you at least 1/3
Hmm.
of the time, meaning at least
1/3 of a week, 1/3 of a month,
one
1/3
third,
of a year. Okay.
specifically 128 overnights per year.
Hmm.
Now, the law has evolved, and now they're saying that 92 overnights
Hmm.
per year could be considered shared, but
So, how does that affect child support? So, with that being said, so does that mean that they just split the cost and nobody pays? And what's the difference? Because then you have shared, but then I also know the terminology of joint custody.
Mhm.
Okay. So just dig
Okay.
into that a
So
little
let
bit
me let
deeper.
me let me try to drill down on it a bit further.
Hmm.
Um, so how is child support calculated? Because
Hmm.
that's what you're asking.
Right.
How is it calculated? Maryland, for example, has what they call child support guidelines.
Hmm.
It's a formula that takes into account several factors.
Hmm.
First of all, it takes into account the gross income of each party.
Hmm.
It also takes into account any health insurance expense paid on behalf of the
Hmm.
child, any work related daycare incurred on behalf of the child,
Hmm.
as well as how many overnights the
Hmm.
child spends with each parent.
Hmm.
So, all of these things together impact the amount
That you may
that will
pay.
be required to be paid,
Right.
or that would be ordered to be paid by the court. Just to give you an example, if parties earn roughly the same income,
Hmm.
but one parent has, let's say, every other weekend,
Hmm.
that's going to be considered sole physical custody for the other parent. And in
Correct.
that case, that's where the calculation will render the highest amount possible.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
But let's say, for example, something changed, and now
Hmm.
that person that had every other weekend now has 3 weekends per month,
Hmm.
Thursday
Hmm.
to Monday drop off at school.
Hmm.
And they divide the summer 50-50,
Hmm.
week on, week off, and some
Hmm.
other things.
Right.
Now they may have 1/3
Hmm.
overnights, meaning the
Hmm.
child resides with them one
So that
third
would
of the
subtract the
year.
amount that they would
That's
have to
going to
pay.
reduce the amount of child support that they're required to pay. Now, if you get all the way to 50-50, it
Hmm.
may eliminate child support altogether.
So that's the next question. How can child support orders be modified and under what circumstances?
Child support orders are always modified. They are rarely ever permanent. And the reason for that is
Mm-hmm.
circumstances change. For example,
Mm-hmm.
if you have child support for a 5-year-old
Mm-hmm.
that's in daycare or
Right.
before care and after care, well, when they
Right.
turn 13 years old, they're catching a bus home and
Right.
there's no daycare before care and after care. So it has to be changed because these expenses no longer exist. Child support is one of these things that changes constantly, to be quite honest with you, every few years.
So back in the day, I used to hear, because when I was dealing with clients, I used to hear how child support could not be changed within a 3 to 5 year period. Is that true?
That is not true.
Okay.
So what triggers a change are circumstances, right? Meaning, let's
Yeah.
say someone loses their job, but I can't afford to pay child support. I got my company
But
downsized.
what I'm saying
So
is when one party, and this happens because I've had it happen with clients, when one party, they went to court last year, and then they went to court in June, and then
okay,
they get mad at each other in January. Can they
okay.
just arbitrarily, the situation ain't changed, can they just arbitrarily take them back to court?
No, they
Okay,
can try,
they can
but
try.
if Hearn's law group is hired by
Mhm.
by
Right,
the opposing side, they're going to lose their case
right,
because
right.
they have not established a material change in circumstances that justifies changing support.
Okay,
That's what's required, and
okay,
that can be a number of things.
right.
The other person,
Hmm.
hell, they could get a new job 6 months from now
Right.
as an executive, and their
Their
income is
salary
now
goes up.
twice as much as mine because
Right.
they just finished their master's
Yeah,
program or
yeah.
they were in nursing school and
Right.
now they're a registered nurse.
Mhm.
So I don't want to get stuck on the time frame. I
Mhm.
want to focus more on when you're thinking about
Mhm.
changes to
Mhm.
child support, it really comes down to the circumstances.
Mhm.
What's really going on in each party's lives with respect to their incomes, with respect to how much time the child is spending at each residence,
Mhm.
with respect to expenses, whether there's healthcare expense or extraordinary medical expenses.
Mhm.
Does a child have a medical condition that requires a lot of out-of-pocket medical? So there's a number of factors that can trigger a modification of child support. But time frame alone is not one of them. There has to be something
Okay, before we go to break, are there protections for parents who are unable to pay due to financial hardship?
else. Well, if a parent encounters financial hardship,
Mhm.
that's a circumstance that has changed from when the child support order went into effect.
Mhm.
What they need to do
Mhm.
is file for a modification based on that financial hardship. Listen,
And let me say this. The only reason why I ask that is because I've had clients where they bought houses and everything, and part of their issue was when they didn't have a job, and they say that they owed back child support, and it was during the time where they didn't have a job. Now, is the reason because they didn't go and file for a modification due to their circumstance, or does the court still hold them responsible for when
so
they earn that money? And then when they get a new job, they may not earn that same money.
so
So that's a two-part question, okay? So I'm gonna shut up now.
the reason I laugh,
Holla at your boy.
the reason I laugh is because you have just opened up Pandora's box, and
Oh
I'm
man.
going to tell you why. You have now ventured into the issue of child support arrears.
Okay.
What are child support arrears?
Yeah.
How do they accumulate?
Hmm.
And when and how does one become responsible for child support arrears? And what can be done about it,
Okay,
if anything?
right. But my
That,
point is that if they lost their job
Mhm,
because of a company cut back and everything,
mhm,
and they have to take the time to get another job. Now that child needs to be provided for.
yes.
Okay. But that's still in the arrears for the person that's doing the payment and stuff, correct? And how do
Right.
they calculate that? That's my point. How do they calculate
That's the
that?
easy one.
Huh?
How to calculate your arrears. So if you're ordered to pay $1,000 a month,
Uh-huh.
for example,
Uh-huh.
and you're paying it,
Uh,
and then something happens like COVID,
right,
and my job no longer exists because I was an event planner,
right,
and now you're not even allowed to hold events
right,
because of this pandemic. I'm out of work,
right,
hypothetically. I can't pay this $1,000 a month.
right.
Every month that goes by
Mhm.
that I don't pay the 1,000, add 1,000 to that, and 1,000 to that,
But they
and
they
that's
could
the
not. But
arrears.
my thing is they could not control that.
Correct.
Okay, and then when you are in certain professions, you can't control.
Correct.
Okay, now I understand providing for the child viewers. I understand that. That's not the issue.
Mhm.
But there's sometimes when a person tries, and I've had buyers and sellers like this when they try their best, and they may not even be able to get up to that sum
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
So do the judges take that into account?
So the law provides for this in this
Okay.
very situation, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we call a motion to modify child support
Mm-hmm.
based upon the change in income.
But do they modify the arrears in that case?
They the court has the authority to. So let me
To do so.
explain.
Okay. That's what I wanted
Yeah,
to know
the court has
because
the authority to.
sometimes people like if you work in a warehouse job or something like
Mhm.
that, and the warehouse closes, and you a warehouse worker, and there's no warehouses around,
That's right. That's right.
that leaves them
You
in a
need to
precarious
file.
situation.
You got to
Yes.
file for a
Right.
modification of child
Right.
support.
Right. But I'm not just talking about the modification. I'm talking about the arrears too. Okay.
But that's included.
Yeah, okay. That's
The
included.
arrears
Okay.
are included. So
Thank you.
with
Thank you.
our example of the,
Yes.
the person's paying $1,000 a month.
Right.
Pandemic hits.
Right.
There's his job or her job as an event planner
Right.
has been eliminated
Right.
because no one can go out to
Right.
these events.
Right.
They have to file a motion to modify child support,
Right.
and they have to request that it
Right.
be modified back to the date of filing, meaning
Okay.
requesting the arrears
Gotcha.
on the account. Now,
Gotcha.
you can request it. It's not guaranteed that the judge will grant that part of the relief. Okay,
Right. Right.
it all depends, and that's why if anyone's in this situation, they
Mhm.
need to hire legal counsel
Counsel.
because
Right.
they don't know how to put their case together
Mm-hmm.
to be in a position
Mm-hmm.
to receive the relief that they really need. They
Mm-hmm.
need to seek legal counsel.
Okay. Gotcha. And I'm going through some of the questions that I've gone through with my clients
Mhm.
because this affects anybody buying or
Oh
selling a
yeah,
house too.
absolutely.
Okay. So one last question: how does child support change as children grow older, particularly when they reach college age? But I know it depends on the state
Right.
itself. So let's just talk
Right.
about the DMV.
Mhm.
Okay. So how does it differ from DC, Maryland, and Virginia?
Well, I mean, so I think everybody knows or has common knowledge of
Mm-hmm.
DC because of the fact that the child support
Mm-hmm.
goes to age 21
Oh wow.
in the
Okay.
District of Columbia.
Yeah.
Maryland is age 18
Mm-hmm.
or 19 if
Mm.
that child is still in high school.
Got you.
Okay.
Got
And
you.
I'll admit I'm not sure about Virginia.
Virginia. Okay.
But
All
we
right.
can
We
find out
yeah,
that
we can
information
touch
later.
on that. So I
Yeah.
know that's a big thing because like I always had clients that come to me and they was like, yeah, my child support get right in. Not, they always want to provide for their child and everything, but then that comes off where that increases the amount that they can purchase and their
Right.
purchase power.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
that's why all of this
That's right.
leads
That's right.
up to it and
Yeah.
everything and all. So Alfonso, in closing,
Mhm.
what would you tell somebody that's dealing with child support issues and where they can go for that?
I have to tell you, it's child support is very tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It can be very difficult to maneuver
Mm-hmm.
all of the issues
Right.
that one may encounter with child support.
Right.
The first thing I'm going to tell anyone is to seek legal counsel
Absolutely.
because there are so many rules and
Mhm.
nuances
Mm-hmm.
to this issue.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not well versed,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to work out for you.
Gotcha.
And quite frankly, you may seek legal counsel, and legal counsel may tell you, don't do anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wait until
Mm-hmm.
this event occurs
Mm-hmm.
or something. It's just never a good idea to
And see,
proceed
with
without
most
legal
men,
counsel.
they're scared,
Yeah.
especially black men. Let's be honest.
Mhm.
Most men are scared when it comes to child support and everything.
Yeah.
And it's not and to me, after talking to a lot of men, white, black, whatever, it's not that they're scared of paying the money. They're really scared of where the money is going and how it's being used. So
Yeah.
that's another thing that we'll get into later too. But I wanted to touch on that, and because I wanted to,
Yeah.
hey, look, we are here to educate.
Yeah.
I was telling, hey, holler at your boy,
Yeah.
okay? Because this
Yes.
is,
That's a hot one.
yeah, these
That's a
are
hot button issue.
topics. Yeah, these are topics that we're gonna get deeper into,
That's a hot button
and
issue.
everything. And look, I want to end with this. I want to thank everybody for coming today and listening to us. Real Talk with Reggie, where real estate meets real life. We thank you, Zoe. I appreciate you, and you will see
Thanks for
him
having
again.
me.
Take care. God bless.